Hi, I'm Amy with Feller Roofing, known as the Roofer Chick. Recently, materials have been difficult to get, and you might be in a situation where you've wanted a certain color or even ordered a certain color and it isn't available. And it's a little bit confusing maybe about why that's going on. Initially, in my opinion, and this is all my opinion, but initially when COVID hit way back in the spring of 2020, a lot of businesses shut down and a lot of people stopped spending because they were unsure about their financial future and what was going to happen. So in the manufacturing industry for shingles, the manufacturers, some shut completely down, but others went down to, instead of running 24 hours and having 3 shifts, they went down to just having 1 shift, and the demand just wasn't there. So they kept producing at a low rate. Then in I would say late second quarter, early third quarter, consumer confidence came back a little bit. People realized it wasn't going to be the end of the world. They were spending time at home and looking around and thinking about things that they could do to make their home better. And the consumer confidence went up and people started buying, which was great. The contractors were happy about that too, and so were the manufacturers, but there wasn't a great supply. And then to make that worse, the derecho hit the Midwest, and do you remember that? That was a land hurricane that went through the Midwest in August of 2020, and it was 200 to 300 miles wide, unlike a tornado that has a very narrow path. And so it took out a huge section of the Midwest and demand spiked. And then Hurricane Laura hit down in Louisiana. And then after Hurricane Laura, I think is Hurricane Delta, hit like a month after that. And so demand in Louisiana also spiked. And so basically you had 3 spikes, one from consumer confidence, one from the derecho, and then one from these hurricanes. And there just wasn't supply for any of that. So the supply houses started moving shingles around. Like for Louisiana, they started pulling out of Houston and then even Dallas sometimes. In the Midwest, they were pulling out of Nebraska, and everything was depleted. So the manufacturers now up what they're doing to try and catch up, but they can't catch up because they're behind. And so manufacturers have started running the basic colors in bulk. They just switched, because every time shingle manufacturers switch a color, they have to shut down the whole line, change everything over, and put new grit in there for the different color, and then they waste a whole bunch while it switches from one color to the other. They have to run a bunch of garbage shingles. And so instead of doing all that and losing the time and the shingles, they just started putting out. So some manufacturers, I'm not going to get into specific manufacturers on this, but a lot of them just started running weathered wood, which is the most common shingle in the United States, and that's what most builders use. And then charcoal is the second most common. So some just ran weathered wood, but then some would run some charcoal as well. And then, other popular colors, but they would run them in huge batches. And so you have a shingle shortage. Now, what does that mean? Not only can you not get the color that you want, but now demand is in excess of supply. And if you've ever taken economics, prices go up. And prices have gone up significantly in the last year. In fact, my shingle that I use, we have gone up 20% in just the last 3 months. That's just one price increase. There's been multiple price increases as demand exceeds supply. So eventually it'll probably level out. Shingle prices never go backwards. So it's not going to go back to what it was. It's going to be at a higher rate, and insurance companies are adjusting, and so is the market. So that is why you can't get a certain color, and why a roof that you had bid 2 years ago has gone up so much in price now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode.